Welcome to another episode of the Overlap Podcast, where we discuss and study the overlaps between work, fitness, family, faith, and parenting, also leadership, with the idea that becoming better in one aspect of your life helps you become better in all aspects of life. And we do that by simplifying big business brilliance. Not that we're brilliant, but we take those concepts and those ideas and boil it down for small business leaders. Really just with the idea that we listened to tons of podcasts throughout the years and saw the connection, but saw that others weren't making those connections, and really saw that most podcasts are designed with the intent to get to the people that are in, 1,000 team member business or some sort of Fortune 500 company where you're way less affected, or you're way further away from the front lines. And what we're trying to talk to are the really the 88% of the world, of the U.S. economy, which is small business. Most of the people that the most people that you live around, they work in small businesses. And so we're talking to you. What's up, Keith?
We're in the political vein right now.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not us, but the world is.
Oh, okay,
the
good.
Convention
Thank God we're not in
or whatever. But we're a podcast for the people.
That's right. That's right. Podcast for the people. Okay. Hey, episode 143. And we appreciate you guys tuning in today. And thank you for your listenership, and thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing this podcast. You've been doing that a lot lately, and we really appreciate it. So, what you been up to, Keith?
COVID.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it sucked for a couple of days, but I feel way better today.
Well, good.
And hope I'm still not contagious as we're sitting in this locked room together.
Yeah, I'm not concerned.
I know you're superior genetically.
I'm not. I just I refuse to give COVID any more.
That's right.
Any more of anything.
Well, yeah, it's like the flu.
Thought, worry, energy in any way.
But I did get to catch up on a lot of TV.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I didn't do anything productive.
Okay.
Well, when you're laying on the couch with COVID, you can go down some rabbit.
Oh,
so
my
I've been
God,
down all the political rabbit holes.
Did you check into Alex Jones?
Yeah, absolutely, I did.
That is that's the gateway to all rabbit holes, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
On Twitter or X.
Yep.
Yeah. That'll get you there. I will open up Twitter, X. Sorry. X sounds stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I really liked the Twitter bird.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It just, why mess up a brand? Whatever. You're rebranding. Okay, whatever.
Because you're the richest man in the world.
Yeah. Is he still?
I don't know.
Bezos,
I think he's
probably. He's up there. Top 5.
Yeah.
But if you want to go down a rabbit hole, just get on X and it will take you. It's like a gateway to any rabbit hole you want.
Yeah.
They're kind of unhinged on X. Well, what else is going on besides COVID?
Launching some products right now.
Okay.
In the media company. And
what are products in your world? What does that mean?
These are books.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 books.
Why don't we just say books?
Books.
Okay.
Okay. Launching books.
I didn't know. I thought maybe it was how to.
But along with
systems,
with the book, you've got the audio book, you've got the paper book, you've got.
So, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah, so it's multiple products for one kind of title.
Okay, fair enough.
You've got digital. You've got.
Who does the audio recording? They've got someone for that.
The author.
Oh, the author.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it when they do that, but lots of times.
Yeah, I only do. I don't do audio books unless the author can read. It's. Yeah,
I'm sure they can read if they can write a book.
Well, I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is
they can
enunciate. You would be surprised.
Okay, I probably would be.
Yeah, so just because you write don't mean you can read well.
Oh, well.
Well, I don't know that I could read to a place to do the audiobook. It takes some talent, actually.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that probably makes sense.
I mean, have you ever listened to a bad audiobook?
I have.
And it's miserable to listen to.
It's bad. Yeah.
So,
I turn those off immediately.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay.
But cool. I really do like when the author reads.
I do too.
Better than when they just have a professional reader.
And you
or
can
whatever.
tell,
Yeah.
and they're like,
yeah, the author's more emotional about their own kind of work.
yeah, and they know when to make the inflection. The actor, the voice actor, is that what that is?
Yeah, I
the
guess
voice
so.
actor just sounds stagey, like it's theatrical. And
Yeah.
overly dramatic at times where I'm like, stop that. I'm reading a freaking book, this isn't.
Yeah.
This is.
However, I do like some theatrical elements in like a fiction book,
Okay.
which I don't do that much. I don't listen to fiction, but the ones that I have, if they do their own voices and stuff, that if they change their voice for the different characters, that's kind of nice.
What's your favorite audiobook ever?
That's hard because I just listened to a really great one.
Well, why don't you just say that? Like a really, really good one that I just recently listened to.
Well, and I think we're going to talk about this later in some later episodes, but The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Oh, yeah.
By John Mark Comer.
That's on the list. It's on the list.
Was very good. And he reads super well, too.
Okay.
Very, very.
That's nonfiction, yeah?
Yeah, that's nonfiction.
The best fiction audiobook ever, and I listened with the kids on a road trip, was called the Ghost Story. I think the Ghost Story. It's this kid that lives near a cemetery and these ghosts, and he's got this British accent. It's fantastic, riveting. Can't remember much of it.
Yep.
But I remember we loved it, and we were like on pins and needles. Like when we would have to stop, get gas, and get snacks, it was in a hurry to get back on the road so we could listen to the story. It was great.
So the best fiction book I've ever listened to is by a local guy, actually, Andy Andrews. And he does his own voices and stuff. Andy is so great when he reads. But it's called Just Jones. And he has a trilogy of that. And it's a very, very good book, a very, very good storyline. And he does a great.
What was it called again?
Just Jones.
Just Jones. Okay.
And the trilogy is called the Noticer series.
Yeah. That's his podcast.
Yeah. And so I was lucky enough to get to work with him on Just Jones, the last book in the series. And so that was pretty cool.
Cool.
But
he's been on the podcast, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, really cool guy down in Orange Beach.
Yep.
Was a comedian back in the day, right?
Yeah, he was.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You could run a country if you were a comedian.
Yeah.
In like the Baltic states, like perhaps Ukraine.
Yeah.
That guy was a comedian, man.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Sid and Keith, when I was on your podcast, I shared my story of how I was $250,000 in debt, and then how I turned my business around and grew it into a highly profitable, multi-million-dollar lawn and landscape business. I'm Steve Bousquet, and we've created a program consisting of courses and coaching that guide people through the process and tools I use to turn my business around and grow it into a highly profitable, multi-million-dollar lawn and landscape business. You can find out more how I did this by visiting greenprofitacademy.com or by going to Amazon and buying our book, Profit First for Lawn Care and Landscape Businesses, right on Amazon.
I want to give a shout out to a friend and sponsor of ours, Chris Drogmiller from CMD Fencing. Let me tell you, I've had the pleasure of working with Chris personally over the last 3 or 4 years, and I've never encountered a fence contractor who excels in communication, craftsmanship, and timeliness like he does. Chris always delivers. I mean it. Fair prices, top-notch work, always on budget, and the best part for me, always on time. So if you're in need of a fence company to help you with a fence or any other outdoor wooden structure, give Chris a call. You won't be disappointed. Get in touch with Chris and let him and his team take care of all your fencing needs. CMD Fencing.
I actually am kind of interested in this year's election.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah.
Isn't it wild?
And I'm not typically political.
Me neither. I mean, I'm always like aware, but I hate getting wrapped up in it, like making it think that this is going to like dictate my life.
Yeah.
That's usually my response is like, whatever happens, I'm still going to be moving forward in a certain direction. I'll have to change a little bit depending on what happens here, but I don't want to get so wrapped up that I think that like this is the last election for our democracy. That's not what I want to do. Save our country.
And I'm totally a selfish political guy. I'll be real honest with you.
Well, isn't like most people are?
I mean, I'm going to vote for like what makes my life better.
Yeah. Okay. I think
I get a lot of shade from that sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, from like, really religious people that vote their religious convictions. Yeah.
They feel like Donald Trump really embodies their religious convictions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know.
He said a few things that would make me think that perhaps he doesn't.
Yeah,
but then then a bullet misses his head, and I'm going, well, maybe I was wrong about all that.
Right?
You know?
Maybe it was really divine.
Oh my gosh,
who knows?
But to segue into today's topic is, and by the time we get through with this, I'm not sure what the title will end up being, but what we had it in our list was that's the actual job. And this is we wanted to have a discussion because I think even in small business, everyone gets wrapped up in job descriptions and really trying to line out everything for everything, right? And they try to embody, or not embody, they try to put in words what the job is. And I have found that you can try to do that, and you can hire and then discuss the job description. You can put out the job description to, help the person applying for the job sort of self-evaluate if this is what they want. But you will also go over that when they're hired. You may go over that in like a quarterly conversation. You may do these things, but I don't know that people really understand what the job is just based on the words, which sounds silly because you should have a job description. You should have an idea. You should think through that process.
And maybe if the words that are in the job description doesn't give a clear representation of what the job is, you may need to think about editing the job description.
Maybe. I think that I have been around, and I have made this mistake, and almost everyone that I'll delegate a job description for something that's kind of not directly reporting to me or something else, and invariably everyone takes that as a license to sound smart. Like,
they want to make it sound cool.
Yeah, smart. Like, I'm a recent MBA graduate, and I'm just writing up this job description and using words that you would never use in like normal conversation. Probably looking it up online and sort of copying and pasting certain things. And I just think it mixes up the message. And really, if we're going to talk about this, one of the main things that I want to try to get across is the clarity of what the job is and why it exists is way more important than trying to sound smart or professional or impress somebody that's going to actually be working for you. I think that we lose sight of clarity. There's also the other side of it where I think, the people filling the role lose sight of what the job really is too. So,
and I don't know much of this, and maybe we need some help from people who have had like a job, because I've never really had one. So, I would assume if you apply for a job with a job description that doesn't match what the job is, you would feel duped once you got into the job. And I've talked to some team members.
Yeah.
Not my own, but like at other companies that said, and I'm sure you've experienced this. Yeah. I got into this job and
I thought it was one thing, turns out it's another.
Correct.
Yeah, that's never good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
To be unclear is to be unkind.
Correct. I've heard that a lot.
Have you?
Yeah, from people.
That's interesting.
Especially in the tech space.
Okay.
Because we can kind of, make up what that job is because we really don't know.
Yeah, and I would say that's way better to just say that.
Yeah.
It's way better. And that's really kind of getting to what I'm trying to say, that like we don't have to try to sound too smart.
Well, and I think that in small business also this happens a lot because in small business we don't quite know, especially if it's our first hire.
Yeah.
We don't quite know what the job description is. I'm just going to need you to do this stuff, but some other stuff may come on.
Yeah. Here's my idea. 30% of the time, I would like for you to farm for, new sales from our existing clients, and 70% of the time, I would like for you to manage that work. That would be on a daily basis. I want you here at 6:55 a.m., 5 minutes before work starts, and then checking people to make sure that they're getting on the right crews, who comes in, who doesn't, making sure they have the right equipment and tools that they need for the day, just double checking, quick maintenance. Then you make your way out to these job sites, making sure that the crew is doing that. And then while you're on the job sites, you talk to the client and see if there's anything else we can do for them. That's my concept. It may shift as seasons happen or other requirements are necessary due to personnel or sales requirements. I'm not sure, but this is my first stab at it. What do you think? I mean, it's way better to do that than to sound like all professional and overly descriptive. I think you paint yourself in a box with that. What say you, Keith?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think age has taught me this, but clearly communicating I don't know is also being honest.
Yeah. I feel like I've kind of always been relatively comfortable with ambiguity, meaning like I'm usually pretty good to go ahead and make a decision even if I don't have all the facts or all of the information that one might think they need, but I can start moving in a direction.
And that's what I'm
pivot.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about with potential team members, interviewing them for a position and saying to them, I don't know necessarily everything that you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
And I think you need to be willing to say that early on. I know I failed at that sometime.
Yeah.
Hiring early team members,
Yeah.
and it would have been a lot better and they wouldn't have been blindsided if I had said, I don't necessarily, I know I need these things, but I don't really know what else I need.
And so I think what really happens, or what the cause of that is, and maybe just from my experience, is especially early on, there's a good amount of insecurity when you're starting a business or you're making some, you're trying to level up and you're moving into some uncharted territory, and everyone you see and you talk to has ideas about how you should be doing it, and you feel less certain about those choices. It's easy to let insecurity sort of filter in, and for me, I have in the past overcompensated by saying this is exactly how it's going to be. And I feel like I need to make that choice and stand strong and all that stuff. And turns out I just paint myself into a box because I try to sound smarter than I am. I try to use language that I don't usually use, so it doesn't stick with me. It's not me, And I, in the process of trying to create this image that I'm professional, I got my stuff together, I lose sight of what's actually important with that role, which is clearly defining the outcome that I'm looking for in that position. How about that for a segue to the next section?
That is good. And I can kind of speak to that from the opposite side as a contractor or an employee.
Oh, yeah.
Employee.
Yeah.
Take my position at the school, right?
Okay. We are in the podcast recording studio at Coastal Alabama. Is it Coastal Alabama Community College in Fairhope, Alabama? It's a fantastic place. Go ahead.
Thank you, Josh Duplantis.
Yeah, thank you, Josh Duplantis. And Steve Hussey.
Yep, and Steve Hussey. who is the head of the department.
Yeah. Okay.
Steve is.
So while
so I
working
can kind
here,
of speak to that. Yeah. You mentioned saying words that you don't normally say. Well, when you get in academia, you want to look smarter than you are.
oh my God, I could only imagine.
Yeah, and so it's put me in a place of trying to look academic.
They might be
Which I
actually,
don't-
they might actually be smart. I don't let me pass judgment. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I sense the pull.
Oh yeah.
Because when you
When
stand
in
up
Rome,
and run,
huh?
when in Rome, when in Rome. So our team members are being pulled in that direction also,
Yeah.
as well as management.
Yeah.
Because I can speak from experience. Like when I first started the job here, I wanted to look smart.
Yeah. Is that why you started wearing glasses?
No, I started wearing glasses because I'm old.
Oh my
But it
God.
kind of does fit the part.
It does.
Yeah,
I mean, if you start wearing a tweed jacket, I'm gonna die.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh.
Sid, you say numbers are the language of business. We probably should take care of business.
Listen up.
I want to tell you about one of our newest sponsors, Red Branch Outdoor Living. They create environments to bring people together by providing a turnkey solution for outdoor living with remarkable customer experience. They specialize in outdoor kitchens, pavilions, patios, pools, spas, and fire features. And they do it with integrity, innovation, and being remarkable. They did my outdoor space, and it turned out amazing. Check them out at redbranchconstruction.com.
Look, not all of you have to deal with workman's comp, but those of you that do know that it's time-consuming and it's a headache. Insurance in general feels like something that happens to you rather than for you. But partnering with someone that really knows their stuff, like Chris May, with LTN Insurance, you've heard him before on the podcast, offers you the opportunity to regain control of your insurance. By collaborating with Chris, you have the chance to craft a personalized plan that ensures you receive optimal coverage at the best price. At LTN Insurance, their foremost core value is centered on education rather than sales. Their core value actually says, we don't sell, we educate, because they truly believe in empowering you, the customer, with the knowledge to make informed decisions about your insurance. That's whether you do business with them or not. They want you to be informed. So you can trust Chris and look him up, give him a call, or go to the website ltninsurance.com. So, we're social creatures. We want to fit in, no matter who we are, for the most part. There are some people that, don't want to fit in, and there's a whole nother podcast on that. But for the most part, we want to fit in. So we want to, and we want to look smart, sound smart, and we want to look and sound like we've got our stuff together, especially if we're, if we're putting ourselves out there. What we lose sight is the actual outcome. And so here's what I was wanting to land on is that as the leader, if you're going to hire someone, it's really important to get clear on what the outcome is for the role that you are trying to hire for. What's the whole purpose for it to be there?
And I think that's where the job description needs to start.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, for sure.
And I think we make a lot of mistakes a lot of time when it doesn't start there because our team member does not have clear communication of what the actual job is.
Yeah, for sure. We will talk. You've seen it. I've worked up this whole model called a talent map, and it really starts with what is our organization about? This might be a little bit heavy or heady or a little too woo for some people. But I like it. So our organization, our landscape company, or the gym or whatever, it's there for a purpose in my mind. And we are, it hit me at some point when I was working a lot and we started to be a little bit successful and there was still some stress, but it looked like, I'd kind of gotten over this hump and I started thinking to myself, what's this all about? And for me, it was providing, a really good working environment and a place for someone that wanted to be in the landscape industry to be successful and build a career out of it. Either way, I put that into some consolidated, nice language, but either way, like, what is it about? And it really is, about helping those people. So,
which, by the way, I've got to brag on you a tad.
Okay. This is rare. Everyone
you
take
just,
a note.
You just got voted that by the community of the best landscape company.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the county or in the Mobile, Baldwin County area.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. You're going to accept that tonight. I can't wait to see you walk the red carpet.
It's not as fancy as Keith is making it out. There's an independent newspaper in our area called the Lagniappe, which is that like Creole or is it French? Essentially, there's a word called Lagniappe. I think it's a little bit slang, but it means a little something extra. I think it's French or Creole. And so they've got this. It's a pretty cool newspaper that comes out. Is that weekly?
Yeah,
weekly newspaper. It's pretty awesome. And then they do like best of, and there's hundreds of categories possibly, and it's voted on and all that stuff, and we got voted on for that. So
yeah, but any award you get voted for is awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, there are some of those that they send you the email that, you've been voted on. Now just give us $1,500 and we'll give you your plaque.
This is not like this. These are actual. This is actually like a legit local award, which is kind of cool.
It is. Well, thank you for that. And let it be known for the record that on the 28th minute of this podcast, we were. Either way, so it starts with what the company is about, and then it goes to the outcome. What is the outcome that this role is supposed to produce? And let's be honest about it. Almost always it's going to be some sort of productivity or some sort of money thing. And I hate to sound like Scrooge McDuck or whatever, but I wouldn't hire anyone for a job that I can do unless there's a return on investment. Unless it's going to free me up for that I can produce more or sell more or do something else, but there is going to be a return on investment. I'm not going to pay Keith Glines $1,000 a week to come work here so I get zero return, or just $52,000 a year just to cover that, in which we all know that it's not exactly 52. It's more than that because there's employer taxes and everything else. So, there needs to be a return on that. I need to think about that. If I'm going to pay Keith Glines $52,000, what is the return I hope to get out of that? How do I get that? And so I need to think about that before I hire someone. And here's the real kicker. How do they help with that? What specifically do they do? Those are the critical drivers. That's the next phase. The outcome, then the critical drivers. And get real clear on that. It looked like you were going to say something. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to add. You said if you pay someone $50,000, just so you know, business owner, if you pay someone $50,000, data says that it actually is going to cost you about $30,000 every 50. So you're really spending about 80.
Yeah. We do something called the total comp sheet. Right. So we really sort of break that out for you. Like, okay, you're going to get $52,000. Then here's the health insurance. Here's the life insurance. Here's the dental, the vision, your portion, our portion. Here is your portion of taxes. Here's our portion of the taxes. Here, if you've got a vehicle, here's the vehicle. Here's our estimated gas. Here is actually the mileage from your house to work. There's that calculated in it. Here is, are you going to participate in the 401k plan match? There's that. All that stuff. And so we put it all down there. If you're making 50, you're probably, like you said, it's probably 83, 82, something like that.
Yep.
So
no one ever takes that into consideration.
We actually give it to them and make sure they know.
I think that's wise.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to be.
I'm being so nice to you today.
God, you've had COVID. I don't know what's going on. Well rested. So I got to know, one, what's it going to cost? Two, what's the ROI I'm looking for? Is it time or is it money? Is it both? How do I get that? How does that position help me? If we go back to that, you may not have picked up on it, but that account manager kind of description I was saying, like, oh, I want you to spend 30% of your time on selling to existing clients, and I want you to spend 70% of your time basically crew or product or production management. This is fictitious. This is not what our guys do, but like, what am I looking for there? Well, I'm trying to get a return on the sales, then I wouldn't get those sales. And really, I feel in that role, it's more like customer service. I always use the line of, I want you to offer dessert and drinks. What I mean by that is if you go to the Hope Farm, this is a very nice restaurant. Shout out to those guys. I think it's my favorite right now. Very nice restaurant. You go in, the waiter's nice, the scenery's nice, the food is great. But if you don't offer me like a drink or a dessert at the end, I feel sort of shortchanged, right? It's you're just missing something.
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
You're just saying, here's the food, there you go. These are our options. Let me know what you want. And then you're out. I feel like I'm trying to provide look, it looks like you need some pine straw. Would you like a price for that? Or here, I already gave you a price for that. If you'd like for us to do that, we can take care of that in the next, 2 weeks. Looks like we could probably, replace those 5 dead plants with these, and I think you'd probably do much better. Here's a price for that. Just offering dessert. If you don't want them, no problem. But I'm proactively communicating some issues that I see, giving you a price to solve it, and what you're seeing is that I'm actually looking at your place and trying to serve you. There's some sales there. There's also customer service. Retention rate goes up when that happens. Then I've got the checking the guys. And this is sort of a weird psychological thing, but, people respect what you inspect. So if they know you're coming around looking, they're going to be on their A game, right? They're going to be, better go ahead and go in the backyard and blow that back porch off, or, hey, make sure we check the edging on this thing or whatever, right? Which seems like they would hate all that, but turns out they're going to do a better job consistently, and all they get is better attaboys from all their customers and the account manager. They end up getting tipped all the time. Hey, you guys are doing such a great job. Here you go. So the more we manage and help them see some issues, the better they do, the better they feel about the job. Right, the better the better the customer enjoys it, the better the feedback they get, the more tips they get, and all that stuff. So, I'm looking for a return that way: retention, quality score, and sales. So there's 3 things. Those are the outcomes for that particular role. And what do they have to do? I need you to go to this many crew stops or whatever. I need you to inspect their trucks this many times. I need you to do these things. Those are the critical drivers to get you to that outcome. You just follow that formula and you're good, right?
We did a podcast a couple of weeks ago called Standard versus Goals.
Yes.
And what I was thinking is that a lot of times, and I think we said that in this podcast a lot, but I don't know that in that podcast, but I don't know that we specifically talked about job descriptions and job function.
Right.
That also needs to come up in that this is not a goal.
Yeah, this isn't a goal.
This is a standard.
This is the job.
Right.
And this is the crux of the whole thing right here. Great segue. You're going to hire someone. They're going to be real clear about what the target is or the standard to meet these marks or these metrics and do these things. And there's probably a weekly and a monthly production goal along with that, and probably a monthly sales goal along with that, right?
Yep.
What's inevitably going to happen is I can't get there because this, or I can't do that because that, or don't you know that Jimmy's not coming in and all this, right? You can hear it already. And if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's always going to be an excuse. Excuse sounds terrible. I don't know a better word. But there's always going to be a reason that it's difficult to hit that target or that standard. And there's some nuance here, like, yeah, maybe there's a hurricane. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some flexibility. But for the most part, 80-20 rule, 80% of the time, there's no question. Probably 90% of the time, there's just no question that, and this is where I land the plane. That's the actual job. That's the actual job. Is overcoming the obstacle and hitting those targets is the job. You figuring out how to actually hit those targets or do those things, make those visits, that's the job. It's not anything else. I'm telling you exactly the outcome I'm looking for. I'm telling you basically how you get there with the critical drivers, but it's up to you to do the job to make sure you get there.
And I'm going to say it, and this is going to sound harsh, but the opportunity to work here, that's the job.
That is the job. That's the, I mean, I just can't repeat it enough. It's so strange. Here's the other part. It's not their job. What I mean by that is, it's not their job. Just because they've worked there for 7 years and that's what they've been doing, it's not their job. We have an agreement. I'm going to continue to pay you X if you produce Y. When you don't produce Y, I don't have the money to provide you X. And I've been on this for a while. We'll have a conversation about it if they're not doing it. And I'm just going, hey, Keith, you know, the outcome is this, whatever. I'm making sure that you remember that the crew gets done every day, the quality score is this, and you hit this sales goal every month. And you go, yeah, I do know that. But, and I go, well, look, that's the actual job, is to actually hit there. I know there's going to be obstacles in the way, but you overcoming those obstacles is actually what I need you to do. Because if there weren't obstacles, it would be super easy, and I would either pay less or I would just do it myself. So I need you to overcome those obstacles. Can you do it? And they go, yeah, I can definitely do it. I'm sorry. And I'll go, well, okay, cool. Because if you don't, I have to find someone who can do the job. I feel like you never have to beg me to pay you on Friday. It's always coming. I'm never going to not pay you. Never. I will go sell something personally to make sure that you get paid, because that's our agreement, right? And you go, yeah. I feel like I'm having to beg you to do your job. And if I keep doing that, we're out of alignment here. And I'm just not going to continue to beg you to do your job, because you never have to beg me to pay you. And I'm committed to that. Are you committed to uphold your end? Usually that changes the whole tenor of that changes the temperature of the conversation. And then people just self-select. They're like, yeah, I can't do it. You know, I don't want to do it. Whatever. And it doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them a bad fit for the role.
And we've talked about this a ton. It's okay to help them make a decision that they need to move on down the road.
Yeah.
It's actually giving them new life in a way.
Right. But because people take jobs because they need a job, and everyone needs a job. And I get that,
right.
You know, and lots of times people take the job and they get in it, and it just isn't a very good fit for their skill set or their mentality or how they're wired, right? People can change. People can get better. And I've seen that with coaching. But it's tough to take a C player and make them an A player.
Yes, it is.
You know? And so if you need an A player, you're going to have to make a tough call.
And my God, I think I can develop people.
Oh my God, me too. That's one of my toxic traits.
Yeah.
To that degree, I'm not really allowed to hire people anymore.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I'm going to come in and save this guy, and, really feel got a good hit on this one,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
For 37 years, he's never been able to do this, but I'm going to teach him.
Oh yeah, really. We really connected. I think this is going to be it. We talk about business a good bit. Perhaps we should take care of some business of our own.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about my friend Wes Cody. He's the president of C2 Wealth Strategies, a financial advisory firm dedicated to providing personalized solutions for your financial needs. Wes and his team of professionals are passionate about helping clients create wealth and achieve financial freedom. At C2 Wealth Strategies, they believe in taking a holistic approach to financial planning and are committed to building long-lasting relationships with their clients, ensuring their financial well-being every step of the way. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Contact Wes and C2 Wealth today at c2wealth.com to schedule a consultation. Let Wes and his team help you build your financial future.
I want to take a moment to talk about someone who's been instrumental in my personal and business success. That's Johnny Barranco and his team at Barranco & Associates. For over 7 years, Johnny has been my go-to accountant and financial consultant. I can tell you that he's more than just a tax preparer. Johnny takes a holistic approach to all my financial dealings, aligning them with my long-term plans and personal lifestyle. I've recommended Johnny to several friends throughout different business groups around the country, and the feedback has been nothing short of exceptional. His expertise and service are top-notch. So if you're looking for someone who not only prepares your taxes, but also helps you strategize for the future, Johnny and his team at Barranco & Associates are the ones to call. Trust me, you won't regret it. So contact Johnny Barranco today and take the first steps towards financial peace. You're not going to regret this. Really, the point I want to circle back around to is that in a world, and in our world, in our thought process, in this podcast, we're talking all the time. And if you're listening to this, you're probably tuned into this stuff too, where it's my job to sort of coach and uncover and discover their obstacles and help them overcome those so they can grow and become better. And I get that. But them ultimately overcoming the obstacles and executing on what the clear outcome is their job. It's the job. It's the job. It's not anyone else's. I'm happy to talk to you, but you have to execute.
But I think as a entrepreneur, you have to ask, am I clearly communicating the outcomes?
Sure.
And if you are not, you need to give some grace. Because you've not communicated the outcomes. You need to give grace so that they can bring themselves to the new outcomes.
Yeah.
Redefining the outcomes there's no problem with redefining the outcomes.
Yeah, we need to we need to rethink it. We need to rethink this.
Yeah.
Turns out I was wrong.
Yep.
You know, people are pretty cool if you say, "Hey, look, whenever you started, I wasn't very clear about this stuff, and I wasn't real sure of what I needed. But now I'm much more clear now that we're 6 months down the road, or 18 months, or whatever. I've got a much better picture, a much clearer picture of what I need for this role to do, and here's what I need it to be. Is this still you?" And they say, "Yes, okay. These are the outcomes. These are the things that I think you need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to produce these outcomes. Are you good with that?" And they say yes. You're clear on that. It's written down. We're all on the same page. Now it's your job. And what I should say, and I've started to a lot so I can set them up for success, not for failure, is going, "Hey, I know that there's going to be obstacles that are going to get in the way of you to make it less than ideal or less than easy street to get there. Here's what I'm telling you, though. That's the job. That's the job. You, in that role, have to overcome those obstacles and do what you can to hit those targets. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to give you some guidance and some ideas, but ultimately it's your job. You got it?" And they'll go, "Yeah." And then you move on. And here's the overlap. Same thing with parenting. It's the kid's job, man. I can't get in there and do the work for them.
No, schoolwork's their job.
Schoolwork, athletics, anything. If they're not into it, cool. Move on to the next thing. Not into schoolwork. I got a little bit of a hang up on that. I feel like school is super easy. Like you got to get some A's. Come on.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's going to be some consequences. Other than that, like, I'm not going to try to make you be a Division I soccer player. That's going to be up to you. Or, you should be a wrestler. You should be a Division I wrestler. Dude, if you don't want to do that, do not make a kid wrestle if they don't want to wrestle. That's the hardest sport in the world.
No. Or play football for that matter.
I used to play football. That's tough.
Yeah. You dads that are living through your kids, stop.
Man, the football thing is interesting. I tried really hard to make my oldest son a soccer player.
Yeah.
And I caught myself when he was about 9 or 10. He sort of started to like just complain about it, and not want to go to practice, and wasn't really like sitting around with me watching Arsenal games on Saturday morning. And I was like, oh, I kind of picked up on it. And I was like, hey, if you don't want to play soccer, no problem. And he's like, cool. So he didn't. And he started playing football. And played for 2 years and never played. Never really was on the field or anything. And then he got like one little taste in like 8th grade football or something like that. And he spent for 2 summers, he like taught himself. YouTube, watching the drills, set up cones out in the back, and just did the work. I don't know anything about that stuff. I played football, but I was like a knucklehead, just go here, do that thing. And I wasn't very good. I was probably there just to kick. So kids are going to figure it out. It's not going to be yours.
Yeah, it's totally okay to tell your child, this is the responsibility that's required of you.
But it's their job.
Right.
This is your job. Oh, that's a good one. The responsibility that's required of you. These are the chores. This is what it takes to kind of be, not that we're going to kick you out of the family, but everyone's got a role to play. Someone's got to wash dishes. Someone's got to take out the trash.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say I was not very good at enforcing that with my children, but they've turned out okay.
Yeah, they turned out all right.
I wish I would have been better there.
Yeah, well, same thing with relationships. Most relationships.
Yeah, I bet my wife really wishes I would have said, this is what's required to live with me.
No.
No, like
I think it's personal,
like not required, but this is what it's going to take to live with me, pretty much.
There you go. There you go.
Not required. But,
yeah. I was thinking of it personally, like this is my role. This is what I have to do. I have to do these things to uphold my end of the bargain. This is the actual job, Jordan likes it when the bed's made. I kind of do too, so I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. But a better one's probably fitness and diet. The trainer, they can give you the workout. They can be there. They can do that stuff. They can they can count all your reps and give you a hard time when you don't do it or whatever, right? Well, they can't make you not stop at McDonald's right as you leave. That's your job. That's the job. If you want to be, whatever, you want to lose 40 pounds and actually see your abs pop out instead of just whatever, that pony keg you're walking around with, you have to do certain things, and it's your job. It's no one else's job. You either want it or you don't. Keith Cunningham says this a lot. Your job is to figure out what you want and then make sure you're okay doing what it takes to get it. Because you can kind of have almost anything you want just as long as you're willing to do what it takes to get it. That's the job.
I like that.
It won't be easy. I like ice cream. What else you got? Any words to add to that's the actual job?
I think we covered it.
It sounds harsh.
Like we thought this was going to be a quick hit. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. So if you're leading people, maybe that gives you a little bit of a, not a pass, but maybe a breath that it's not all on you, that it's actually their job to execute. And like Keith said, as long as you've been clear about what the outcome is that you're looking for, that you need, that the company needs, and then you've been clear about really how you anticipate them getting there, they might have some stuff to add to that. There's some give and take. Then at a certain point, it's their job. It's not my job that you can't make it here on time because you live 30 minutes away. Get up 30 minutes earlier. I don't know. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of not a pass, but just some guidance that it's their job. And if you've been clear, you've done your job, and you shouldn't have to beg someone to do theirs. It's just not a good fit. They're telling you this isn't a good fit with their actions. That's probably better said. And then you can move on to the next phase, which we've talked about many times, is just helping them, having a clear conversation and candid and mature conversation of going, hey, doesn't look like this is a good fit for you. You know, you're having a difficult time hitting these targets. You know, we've been clear about it. And I don't think you're a bad person. You're not trying to not do these things because you're dishonest in any way. You know, you would ferret that out, and that's a different conversation. You probably go ahead and let them go at that point. But if they're good people, you should go, man, you're a good person. This just isn't a good fit for you. What can I do to help you transition to another position? Whether that's here or someplace else. Probably someplace else because we don't have a position for that. But can I open up my network and send some emails out? Do you want to start looking? They'll go, you know, lots of times they'll say, yeah. I'll go, okay, cool. Why don't we try to find in the next 4 weeks, you continue to do this job. I need you to still do these things because you're still getting paid. But I'll help you transition so you don't go without a paycheck. And in the meantime, I'm going to be looking for some people too. So let's just stay in touch, and we'll set an arbitrary date for 4 weeks, and you start moving towards that goal. May have to push it out to 6, may have to push it out to 8 because maybe it takes me a little longer. You know, but let's work together on when we bring someone in and when you transition out. It works.
Clarity is kind.
Yeah, if you're not clear, you're not being kind. Thank you to our sponsors, and they actually make these podcasts possible. There is expense in getting this stuff edited and get it out to you. We appreciate the sponsors sort of helping cover those expenses. And we actually use all of these people's services and products. So we highly recommend them. So please, if you want to support this podcast, please support those sponsors. And that's all I got, man.
You've probably heard the last few episodes. We changed the format of the show a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Added additional ad spots. And shout out to Tim Scott, who is our new producer. He's amazing. So let us know if you like the new format.
Yeah, message us. I'm on Instagram, good bit. LinkedIn as well. Keith is on Instagram, LinkedIn. I think you've got Facebook. I do not have Facebook.
I have Facebook, but I don't ever check it. And it's just because I'm addicted to Facebook Marketplace.
Are you?
Well, yeah, I have 3 Jeeps right now.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you do.
One of them's sitting in your yard.
I know.
Yard.
Yeah, you just brought it up, and it's getting rained on right now.
It gets rained on every day.
Yeah, mine too. All right. Well, thank you guys, and thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, peace.